My name is Victoria Olguin, and I will be interviewing Mario Leone, a retired police officer and U.S. Air Force veteran. Where were you born?
El Paso, Texas, December 2nd, 1966.
And where did you grow up?
I lived in Juarez, Mexico till I was 9.5 years old, and I lived in El Paso till I was 18. When I was adopted by my grandfather.
And what stage of life majorly influenced your life?
When I was 9.5 years old, my mom passed away, and it motivated me, it influenced me to, whenever I had kids, to be a good dad.
How do you identify yourself in terms of social class or ethnic identity during your upbringing?
I grew up very poor living in Juarez. We didn't have a lot. And then when I got adopted by my grandpa, we lived up in the middle class.
And what type of jobs did you have, unpaid and paid?
I used to volunteer at old folks home. And the paid jobs, I was in the Air Force, flight attendant, and police officer.
What type of labor or work skills have you acquired over your lifetime?
Learning how to read people, street smarts, being able to communicate with people, in general, just being able to read people.
And are there any memorable events during your upbringing or life that led to the choice of the Air Force and the police force?
The police force, when I was in fourth grade, we had a police officer from El Paso come in and do a presentation. And I remember him walking in, and he looked like something out of a movie with all his decorations and his badge and his gun. He looked like a knight, so that got me thinking about that.
And for the Air Force?
The Air Force, it was my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law, Ben Avalos. He always told me, have a plan. In 5 years from now, where do you want to be? In 5 years from now, where do you want to be? And he motivated me to always have a plan. And that's why I went in the Air Force.
And what was it like transitioning from your regular life to the Air Force?
It was a little culture shock because I had rules and regulations I had to follow, no questions asked. Had to wear a uniform, polish my boots, and do what you were told. That was tough.
Were there specific gender roles in the Air Force and the police force?
No. Everybody had the same responsibilities in their career. There was no difference. Everybody had the same expectations.
Were there any situations that men or women handled better than the other?
In domestic violence situations, women were better because they had a calming sense about them at dealing with it and diffusing a domestic violence situation because they were calming. And men would deal with the extremely violent individuals.
Okay, and then what type of education did you need for the Air Force and police force?
The Air Force, high school diploma. Police department, high school diploma. But to promote to sergeant, you needed a bachelor's degree, which I had to get.
And where did you acquire that education?
I got it from Northern Arizona University when I was 40 years old.
And your high school diploma?
Urban High School.
And what was your experience like doing so?
College, I enjoyed it because there were people there they were way younger than me, all walks of life, and I got to interact with them, and I was the only police officer there that was 40 years old. That was a beautiful experience because I got to interact with people that were not cops.
And when did you get your bachelor's in?
History. I have a bachelor's in history, education.
What was it like transitioning from the Air Force to the police force?
It was easy because it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. The structure, the uniforms, the requirements, it was the same.
What is your perspective on Blue Lives Matter?
My perspective on Blue Lives Matter is simply put, I don't like it because all lives matter to me. If I could design a t-shirt, I would design it that says all lives matter, no matter where you come from, what you look like. All lives matter, no matter what you do as a profession.
And what are the important skills or knowledge needed to ensure success in the Air Force and the police force?
Education,
The skills and knowledge. Okay.
skills and knowledge. Skills, people skills. People skills. People skills. Knowledge, education, so you can learn about the people you're dealing with. Those are the two top skills needed to succeed.
And those are for Air Force and police force?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me a happy memory of when you were in the police force and the Air Force?
When I was in the Air Force is when I got sent for temporary duty to Ecuador. I was there 45 days and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. The culture was amazing.
And for the police force?
The police force, when we used to adopt families for Christmas, and we adopted this family one time, and I took over a bag of presents to these 3 little girls and their mom, and their eyes lit up when I gave them a bag full of stuffed animals and little toys and Barbies. That one was the best one that sticks in my head.
And what did you least expect to encounter on the job?
Nothing, because the way I was raised, the way I grew up, I've seen ugliness. So when ugliness happened, it was not a surprise to me.
What has it been like transitioning from law enforcement to retirement?
It's a little culture shock again, because I went from getting up at a specific time, having to be at a specific place, and leave when specifically you're done, to not having to worry about getting up at a certain time and taking a shower and going to work. It wasn't difficult, it was just an adjustment period.
And how did it feel transitioning from the role of power that the law enforcement in holds till afterwards?
It was hard because when you encounter chaos as a police officer, your job, your role is to make peace out of chaos. Fight what most people fear. So when you retire, you don't have those powers anymore. Powers meaning the ability to make chaos go away. So when I see it now as a civilian, it's frustrating for me because there's nothing I can do about it except call a cop. That's frustrating.
Okay, thank you very much.